Thank you so much. Cam, what do you think has been Miami's inability to recruit elite corners and linebackers over the last several years? Let's go, Canes. Great show, Mark. Hit the like button. And Chug Mobier, thank you.
I think it's more corners than it is linebackers because Miami has gotten some guys. I think that the thing at linebacker was the fact that we had Quarterman and Pinckney, and to a lesser extent McLeod in front of them because they knew that they were not going to come here and play. That just was a simple point of fact. Miami was in it until almost the end with Justin Flo. Obviously, he decided to go to Oregon. He just tore his meniscus. He's out for the year, which is unfortunate for him. But, you're in it with him last year to try to get that going, and everything. I know Manny Diaz coached linebackers, and he was just, you're all in with Quarterman and Pinckney and McLeod. I mean, all of them started, an aggregate, 12 years, 4 for those guys. You take a red shirt for McLeod, and then he starts this year. So all 3 of them started pretty much every game that they were here. You know what I mean? And they're playing the majority of snaps, too, because we did rotate some and kind of stupidly, but, not too much. So, it's going to be tough because guys want to play at linebacker. And you de-emphasize that position in recruiting because you have the guys that you have here, but you do get Sam Brooks. You did get Avery Huff, who are elite prospects. I think that Deshaun Trotman is a great linebacking prospect who's not being talked about enough in this 2021 class. Corey Flagg, I think, was underrated last year. Tyreek Austin-Cave also fits what we want to do very well. But no, we have not gotten the everybody's All-American, Justin Flo, Matthew Thomas, Willie Williams even, DJ Williams or John Beeson or Jonathan Vilma, just a high 4-star, 5-star, everybody's All-American, first team All-Conference, first team All-American, 3 years in a first-round draft pick. We haven't gotten those guys. And maybe that's an impact of, Manny Diaz needing to step up his personal recruiting and Blake Baker now being the defensive coordinator and linebackers coach. So maybe there's with that. At cornerback, I just don't think that we've had I think that we've just gotten outbid for guys. And I don't think that we've had consistent relationships with the local recruits that we need to. And I think that cornerback is starting to mirror wide receiver from South Florida where, you've had all those guys go to Alabama and, a couple to Georgia now and a couple to Clemson now and things like that. I think that you're seeing that similar kind of thing, those edge players, those elite skill guys locally. I think that just like on offense, on defense, they're starting or have been taking their talents elsewhere. Unfortunately. And I think that that's twofold. One, I don't think that we have the kind of relationship to lean on with those guys. And I don't think that we have had recently the kind of product that we needed in terms of a winning program to really attract those super uber elite guys. Your Tyreek Stevensons, your Tyson Campbells, your Patrick Surtain II, those kind of dudes. I don't think that we had the traction with them. And this is, again, where I would like to see maybe somebody with increased recruiting skill at cornerback coach because you're able to lean on that with safeties. Avante Williams, number 2 safety in America last cycle, says, look, the relationship that he had with Ephraim Banda and Manny Diaz for the 4 or 5 years that he was being recruited, that was what won him over. James Williams is talking about, look, these dudes are the same dudes that they've been ever since, I was in middle school and everything. Anytime I went to a camp, anytime anything like that, relationship is what you're really leaning on. I don't think that Miami has that with the cornerback recruits, and I don't know why. So you can maybe look to what they're doing systematically. Maybe it's the coach, whoever's recruiting them. Maybe, it's whatever they're seeing on the field. But I think that it's, the lack of a elite product and the lack of relationships with corners and at linebacker, I think it was just de-emphasized because we had 3 dudes who came in one recruiting class 5 years ago, and they ended up starting pretty much every single game that they were here over the course of that time. But I think at linebacker, we have gotten some guys. I still question what the rotation is on defense at linebacker this year because you're not going to be bigger than people. You're going to be faster than people. So we have, guys like an Avery Huff, guys like a Sam Brooks. That's the strength of this position, and we're not leaning on it. But if you were to lean on that, I think you would see that new trend or that the new talent on the roster is to the level that I think that we want it to be but you're not necessarily playing them. So I would say it's more corners than linebackers, but I do see where you're coming from with linebacker because for many years, yeah, it was 53, 55, and 56 and set it and forget it. So why would you really bring in somebody, or why would somebody uber elite come to sit behind them? Because you're going to sit.